Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the Sunday race press conference at the end of the TISO Grand Prix of Czechia. Our first visit to Brno, of course, since 2020. We are joined by our top three. Congratulations to Ducati Lenovo team rider Marc Marquez. Marc creating history today here in the Czech Republic. The first Ducati rider ever to win 5 successive Grand Prix. Of course, he was also the sprint winner here yesterday. To Marc's right, we welcome Aprilia Racing's Marco Bezzechi. 2 podiums now in the last 3 Grand Prix for Marco. Another great job by the Aprilia rider. And for the first time in 2025, we welcome onto the podium Red Bull KTM Factory Racing rider Pedro Acosta. What a brilliant weekend for Pedro. Never having raced here before at all in Brno in any class. And he's on the podium in the sprint and the Grand Prix. Gentlemen, well done to all 3 of you. Amazing to be back in Brno. Amazing to be racing in front of that incredible crowd here today. Marc, you have created history. The first Ducati rider to win 5 races in a row. You're heading off on your holidays very, very happy, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would like to have a race next week because we are in a super good moment, but it's important to take a rest and understand what we did this first part of the season. It's true that has been super good. One of the best parts, the first part of the season I had in my career as 2019, we can say, now we're in a very good moment. The team is working in a very good way, and the bike is working. So all these things with trying to manage always my instinct and not attack every lap, just try to control myself. This helps a lot to continue with that consistency.
A tough early battle, we can see it now on pictures. You had an early battle with Pecco, your teammate, and then with Marco, of course. We know how good you like that move into turn 3.
Yes.
How tough was that early battle, and how comfortable did you feel once you hit the front?
Yeah, I mean, the plan was try to lead the race from the beginning and manage the race as I won. But then when Marco overtook me, he was braking super late and with a good corner speed. So I decided to wait behind him. And when I feel the first drop of the tires, is when I attack, because is where I start to play with the bike, and as always in the second part of the race I feel better and better, and yeah, then I managed to see the distance, and it was enough to take the 25 points.
It's 5 years this weekend since Jerez back in 2020, when I guess a bit of a nightmare started for you, but now you are living a dream with Ducati. It's been an incredible first half of the season, as you said, Marc. I mean, you're enjoying the celebrations, climbing the fence with the fans. I mean, they're sweet moments after what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, as you see, last year was the crucial year. The Gresini team gave me the opportunity to come back, and then I was riding in a very good, I mean, not in the perfect way, but step by step I get more and more confidence on myself. But yeah, I need to say that during these 5 years, maybe in my professional life I lose the chance to fight for the championships because they injured, but at the same time I grow a lot in my personal life. So never is good to have tough moments, but sometimes it helps to a person to see the things or even change your character in some situations.
Marc, congratulations again. Another fantastic performance here in Brno. Second place, and he fought such a strong fight at the front and nearly part of that Grand Prix. Marco Bezzechi for Aprilia Racing. Marco, you go into the summer break looking very, very strong in the last few races. Winner in Silverstone, the podium in Assen. You were fighting for the podium last weekend in Germany as well. How do you analyse today's race? Because once again, it was a very strong performance from you and the Aprilia.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy about the weekend overall, and today's race was fantastic. I was able to make a good start. That was my plan. I studied a lot strategy in my head to try to put myself in the first position as soon as I could, to try to give some fresh air to the front, especially because this track is always demanding on the front. And I risked a lot in the first couple of laps, but then I found myself where I wanted to stay, and I knew Marc was really strong. We saw his pace during all the weekend, and honestly with the medium tire I never really worked a lot. I tried the tire only this morning, so I knew for sure that he would be very strong. So when he passed me, I didn't panic too much. I tried to follow, but I saw that he was slightly faster, lap by lap. He was making a bigger gap. So I kept calm, I kept the concentration. I tried to make anyway my rhythm without stressing anything too much. And then in the end was the key, because in the last 3-4 laps I had the speed and the tire left to escape from Pedro and to finish in second place.
Your race started well, it finished well. You set your fastest lap of the race on the last lap, but you also rode around the outside of Fabio Quartararo on lap 1 into turn 3. I mean, talk us through those moments.
Yeah, that moment was probably the best one, the more adrenalinic one for myself, of course. The overtake was amazing, because Fabio went inside, and yesterday to follow him I got passed by Pedro in the start, so I said okay, now I go on the right and I try on the outside. I think that I put all the jollies in one corner, and fortunately it paid off, because then was the correct move to be able to stay in front. So yeah, good.
Marco, fantastic weekend for you once again and the team here in Brno. We'll come on then to Red Bull KTM Factory Racing rider Pedro Acosta. Pedro, as we mentioned, you never ever raced here before in Brno prior to this weekend. So to be leaving with a sprint in the podium and a sprint in the Grand Prix, that was a superb weekend all round for you and the team, wasn't it?
Yeah, not bad to be the first visit here to Czech Republic. But anyway, we was working quite okay in the last couple of weekends. Also, since I have the surgery in my right arm, we was getting better and better. It's true that we are still not in the moment to really think about victories and all these things, even sometimes to a podium. But anyway, we have to try to catch the opportunities that are around the championship, you know, for this. I don't know, was not easy first part of the season for us, was not easy first part of the season for me and for KTM for this. Now we are in a better mood. We are coming back and be more constantly also from last year for this. Also the experience is paying off sometimes.
As you mentioned, at times in the first part of the season it has been quite difficult, it has been quite tough, but this weekend feels like it's been a bit of a turning point. How much of a big boost is it for you, the team and the whole of KTM to get that double podium here?
For sure, means a lot. You know, was not easy. How we was living the first part of the season. Now was, let's say, a lot of fire between us. You know, when you put two strong characters like this in the same table, you know, to talk are sometimes quite a mess. You know, but anyway, sometimes we have to call down everything, start again, and it's true. From the last couple of weekends, we are getting better. We are getting more constant, and every time in the top 5 for this. We have to keep going like this now to improve his term of time for this. Let's wait until good things arrive to the bike, and let's wait until Red Bull Ring.
And just finally, Pedro, like Marco, you also set your best lap of the race on the last lap. You were coming under a lot of pressure from Pekka Banai. Were you always confident that you were going to be able to hold him off and take that third place?
Well, I was trying 100%, you know, at the end from lap 10 to 15 that I was really close to Marco. I was struggling a bit with the front and I was not really able to follow him. For this I started to try to manage the rear one, to have some tools at the end of the race to come play with. And when I see Pekka that was 0.8, 0.6, I start to push again to say, okay, now it's time to give everything we have. And if we arrive without nothing, okay, but minimum we try.
Brilliant weekend here in Brno for you and the team. Congratulations, Pedro. Congratulations once again to all three of you. We'll take questions, please, now from the media. Thank you very much.
Hi, Dimitris Diatsidis from Greek TV. A question for Marco and Pedro. Marco, do you think that now Aprilia is again like in the past where you were not there good in the last part of the race? Because it was some years that Aleix had problems in the last part of the race, and now we see you very strong in the last part of the race. Is that only in this track or is general in this year?
Well, to be honest, from the beginning I have to say that the bike has been always good in the end of the race. I was struggling more in other things like the time attack or the beginning of the race, but in the end of the race has always been quite good. So yeah, can't complain too much. I don't know how it was before when I wasn't an Aprilia rider, but once I jump on this bike, I felt that on the end of the race was good.
And a similar question to Pedro. Pedro, we saw that when you let Bez to have a bigger advantage because obviously of your front tire pressure, and then you managed to do the best lap in the end and defend from Pecco. Is KTM all year good in the last part of the race, or is a place that you need to improve?
Well, in all my career I was suffering in the qualifying, and now looks like minimum we managed to be in the third row. That is not so good, but okay, it's not the disaster that was in the past years. And well, also the speeding is helping, you know, because last year, okay, I was fast, but sometimes in the end of the races, I was struggling, don't really knowing what's electronic use or how to ride the bike with other kinds of electronics. For this now it's helping a lot. Also in the test we are making a lot of work on this, and also at home for this. Now I think I'm riding better than last year, but also the KTM is, okay, maybe this track was helping us a bit, but in the last couple of GPs we was also catching back. It's true that Marc is anyway at beginning and in the end of the race is faster than us, but anyway, we are getting closer to the podiums.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Frank Weying from Zeko Sport. One question for you and one for Marc and one for Pedro. Marc, you were making sort of a comparison between now and 2019, probably your best season so far. But if we see you on track, especially this weekend and especially today, it seems like everything is perfect. Now, can you explain to somebody who doesn't know that much about racing, like me, what it's like to be on the bike and where you feel that you can still gain some time and some feeling in the bike?
Yeah, it's true that I changed my riding style, especially after the injury, because I'm not allowed anymore to ride in an aggressive way for a lot of laps. So this forced me to adapt my riding style to my new physical condition that is working well, but I need to ride in another way. So yeah, this is one thing, and then with the bike I feel super good, and when you are fighting against the bike, sometimes you are even slower, and now looks like smoother I am, faster I am. So this is something that I like it, because like this about physical condition, about all these things is less demanding. So yeah, let's see, but still we need to keep going, because still some areas we know where we can improve, but you cannot have the perfect bike.
Okay. My question to you, Pedro. Pedro, you talked about the difficult period that you went through, not just you, but the factory as well. How difficult is it to say, okay, now we have to sort of turn a switch and move on?
Well, it's not easy when the winter was that tough for the brand, and even for you, you know. But anyway, it's true that you have sometimes to accept that when it's not your year, it's not your year, or it's not your race, or whatever, you know, and keep moving on. You know, sometimes when you start to be frustrated, everything is even worse. For this, it's better to don't take the thing so serious, keep going, keep rolling, and try to be slightly better every day.
Simon Patterson from the race. Marc, is there these races where you're so dominant? Is there like any worry about starting to lose the focus? Do you have to pay attention to stay concentrated in the closing laps of them?
I mean, of course, one of the reasons when I did the mistake in Austin was to lose the focus. Then problem, solution. If you have some mistake, you need to work on it, and then I start to work on it, and looks like now I'm able to keep better the concentration. That was not something that was a problem in my career. Just sometimes when you have that big advantage, it's difficult to keep the same intensity. But as today, for example, some laps I was pushing more, some laps less, just to keep playing with my mental side, not with the limit of the bike.
Neil Morrison over here to your right. I have a question for Marc and for Bez. Marc, you're now 120 points clear of Alex in the championship. Going into the second part of the year, you can still break all kinds of records, like most number of wins in a season, most number of points. Are these kind of things that could now be the motivation? It seems like, you have such a healthy advantage in the championship.
For me, the main priority and the only priority is win the championship. And now, always I try to speak honest. I only can lose. So I have 10 races to go where I need to keep the same mentality, where the team need to keep the same spirit and try to do our maximum. But the records, I don't care. I just want to be world champion again.
Okay, thank you. And Bez, in previous years with Maverick and Aleix, we saw the Aprilia super strong at certain racetracks and then maybe not so strong at others. It was quite an inconsistent package, it seems. But since Silverstone, you've been showing pretty much podium potential at every round. How have you and Aprilia found this consistency?
Well, I don't know how to say perfectly in English, but we worked a lot to try to find the way to build a good bike everywhere. So it's just work.
A question to Marc and a question to Marco. So Marc, in 2014 you won 11 races in a row. Now you are the first Ducati rider to win 5 in a row. Do you think that in the current MotoGP, with your current mindset, it would be possible also to break your own record? And to Marco, you have followed Marc when he passed you. Could you explain where he has his strength on this circuit?
I mean, as I say, records, of course, are there, but it's not the most important, because when somebody speaks again about the records, it's because some rider is close to beat the record. The main target is try to fight, or we are fighting, try to win. Now the second part of the season is try to win the championship. This will be the main target, and yeah, 5 victories in a row. It's true that we did it in the past, but now it's even, on my personal opinion, more difficult, because we have a sprint plus main race. So I take the 37 points last 5 races, so this is even more difficult than keep winning on Sundays.
Well, for sure, Marc was strong everywhere. You could see this from the yesterday, but also Friday. He has been strong in every condition. So honestly, when I was behind him, I saw that in braking maybe I was also stronger than him in some places, but then he was riding really smooth, and in the traction area he was perfect. I think they are in a very, very good moment in terms of work that they do on the box, and his setting, his style, everything is good. So yeah, especially in the traction area, he was stronger than me.
Cosimo Curatola, Italy. Question for Marc. So Marc, you have 120 points on your brother. You could even don't race the last 4 races. What about if you could win the championship, your 9th World Championship in Misano? And have you ever thought about this? Thank you. An amazing job.
I mean, no, I think it's not possible. I mean, a lot of races to go with a sprint race, main race. I had the experience of 2014, where I tried to keep winning and try to close the championship as soon as possible, and then I crashed in Misano and in Aragon. So just I need to take care about all these things. It's true that we have a big advantage, but we will have many races back to back in a row. So keep focus and no stress. I mean, I had enough pressure this first part of the season to manage. Now we have the advantage. This gives me less pressure, but we need to manage all the situations. Of course, I will try to take the 37 points every weekend, but sometimes it's not possible.
You can do a bet, I think.
No.
Manuel Pessino from Riding Sport Japan. Marc, a question over here on your right. Marc, this weekend Ducati had not the lot of information they normally have because this track was new in the championship. Have you worked different? I mean, because you worked by yourself this time?
No, we work in the same way with the same setup as we race in Sachsenring, in Eisen, and Mugello, and Aragon. No, in Aragon it was different one. But we work in the same way. They have a lot of tools, and the tools everybody have that, but they can use, and they are super smart to use all the tools they had and all the parameters and take the maximum of every situation. So I feel super comfortable. As we saw yesterday, the fact that have less information was a bit tricky with the tire pressure, but today was everything was done, was fixed, and the bike was working perfect.
Gianmaria Rosati, Motosprint Italy, here. Question for Marc, here. Marc, how satisfying is to win a race when just two Ducati finish it in top 10? Because from outside, it means that you made the difference more than other times. So, does it feel different?
No, I feel happier when Alex finished second and Pecco third, opposite, to don't create any. But brother is brother, you know. but it's true that for me we are a team, and I want the best for Ducatis, and if more Ducatis are in front, means the bike is working in a perfect way. So it's true that this weekend we struggle a bit more because the fact that the grip was super high pushed a lot the front tire, and yeah, but we didn't have time, so the rider must to adapt to that conditions.
Hi at all, Marc. This championship for you is a penalty into an empty net. What is empty net? Porta vuota.
Okay.
What is
tipo fare gol senza portiere.
Your bigger fear?
Okay. Non sapeva. Okay.
What is your bigger fear?
Injury.
A question for Marco and Pedro. You are always more near to Marc. If you take a genius in the Sunday, in the holiday, what do you ask? More engine, better aerodynamics?
More holiday. No, I mean, apart from jokes, to be honest, nothing in particular. We are working well, and the bike now is overall good in every area. Of course, now it's all about the details. You know, Ducati has many riders, many data, many strong riders also. Now that Jorge came back, for sure we can collect even more data together with the Trackhouse crew. So yeah, we have to adjust everything in the best way possible.
For me, more or less the same. At the end, now KTM is getting better and better with Enea this weekend, with Brad is getting back, and also with Maverick when he returned from his injury. For this, we need more info. We need to keep it this way because it looks like in the last couple of GPs are working for this. Let's see if we can be slightly closer. We have to be happy.
And question again from Marco, for Marc and Pedro. Marc, since yesterday, because of the result of Alex, you don't need to win until the end of the championship. You can take the championship and today with this result with second and even third places. Is something that you will change, as you said, your strategy in the race, and maybe you will say, today I'll stay second or third. And for Pedro, it was how good it was to have the new CEO of KTM here. Have you spoke with him?
But mentality to finish controlling the points wasn't, is not, and will not be my way. So if I can attack, I will attack every race.
It's nice to have the new CEO. Looks like bring us a bit of luck for this. Let's try to convince him that he keep going with us to the tracks for this. Anyway, it was good to have good news, to have fresh air also in the box for this. He's a good guy.
Marc, Marco, Pedro, great weekend here in Brno. Enjoy your summer holidays. Well deserved. Thank you.